Now from Atlanta News First Plus, this is Sports Tonight.
Happy Thursday, everybody.
Happy Thursday.
Welcome to Sports Tonight. Sports producer Scott Pennyman here with
Bailey.
Great Bailey Burmaster here. It seems like it's been a while since we've had a chance to talk some sports. I'm excited.
I know. Usually it's like me and you every in a blue moon with how the schedule aligns. And
Right.
so today we get to have some fun.
UGA, right? UGA's first on the agenda as they prep for the Orange Bowl against the artist formerly known as Florida State, right? I mean, I think half the team has decided, nah, I'm not playing.
On both
I'm good.
sides of the ball. Opt out, opt out, opt out. I have a feeling this is going to be a lopsided game for sure.
Now, I didn't see I was looking around. Our guy Brock Bowers, is he?
He is not there yet. So Amarius Mims apparently posted on his Instagram that he was there in Miami, but who knows if that's real or not. The team does practice tomorrow, so they can see who's out there. If I had to guess, what it seems like is Brock Bowers came back too early.
Of course he did.
Yeah, of course he did.
We knew that. We talked
Correct.
about that.
The ankle injury has been nagging, and there's no point in playing in this game, so why would he? It's now time to look at the NFL, so I would not be surprised if he doesn't play. But again, I also wouldn't be surprised if he actually did play as well. So we'll see how it all plays out.
It just made no sense for him to come back anyway, right?
Correct.
I mean, when he came back earlier and it seems like he rushed his way back after about 3 weeks. We all knew I'm no doctor, right? I mean, never been to medical school a day in my life, but it seems like he was coming back a little fast, and it just really didn't seem like it made a lot of sense. We talked about it right here on Sports Tonight. We said, look, I mean, the guy's won won Mackey Award, right? I mean, he's won Mackey Award. He's pretty much done everything that you could do on a college football field. He's going to be a top 10 draft pick. I even saw some mocks recently that had him sliding a little bit, so I wonder if the injury played a role. And maybe his stock maybe going down a little bit, or maybe they feel like he's not going to be right.
It's just an ankle injury at the end of the day. Like, it's probably just nagging because he came back too soon and then he continued to play through it. And now it's like, okay, let's not risk the future for just the Orange Bowl, which has no implications after. You're not in the playoffs. You're not going to a national championship. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a long-term concern reality, but I just don't think this game is worth playing, especially if he needs to get healthy and it's still nagging.
That's kind of crazy when we say, not even worth playing or whatever, because Florida State, man, it seemed like they're just treating this like it's an exhibition, It's just
They're on their third-string quarterback now because of transfer portal and injuries. So he's just, Brock Glenn, I believe? I mean, come on. This is going to be an interesting game and probably not for the best.
When I look at guys like Jared Verse, he's not going. He's probably going to be a first-round pick, and Keon Coleman going to be a first-round pick.
I mean, they're missing their top three receivers, their top running back, their quarterbacks. It's
a form of protest is what it is. I mean, let's just be real. I mean, let's just call it for what it is. They know they got played when it came to the college football playoff, and I think they just kind of, the important players on that team said, you know what? If they're going to play us like we don't matter by basically leaving us home after winning all our football games, why should we treat this game like it matters? So I don't really have a problem with those guys sitting out because just as a whole, I think college football's kind of done this to itself, right? Just when you look at it as a whole, once you have a college football playoff for the top 4 teams fighting it out for a national championship, you almost render the other games unimportant, the other bowl games. And I think every year you start to see guys who they don't find them to be important. I know in Ohio State's bowl game against Missouri, Marvin Harrison Jr. He hasn't even been practicing most of the week, probably won't play.
Well, and I think it's funny, like we talk about the playoff and their decision or whatnot, but I think I think the committee did get it right, but I also believe that it was unfair to Florida State. Like, I believe those things are not mutually exclusive. You can feel both ways about everything. And I think in noting that, I don't think anyone, I haven't heard anyone talk about faulting Florida State for players that want to opt out or feeling any type of way. They're entitled to how they feel and being left out because they went undefeated and were not given the same courtesy that teams before them have been given. So I feel for them. I get it.
You ready to hear from some of the stuff?
Let's do it. Let's hear from the kids down in Miami about this game.
Culture, that's his standard, that, we all are individuals that all have egos, but we all are University of Georgia. That's who we are, and that's who we represent. and that's who we play for. And I think, those guys have bought in, and they believe in that. It's just not words. They believe in that, and it's important for them to wear the G and represent Georgia the right way. And guys like that are fun to coach.
From the moment we saw you at the beginning of the year until now, where do you think the offense made the biggest strides this season?
I think each game is its own different game. Each week's its own week. I think staying consistent. I think we got more explosive as the year went on, but I think that had to do with us getting some pieces back and becoming healthier. The thing I love about this offense is their resiliency. They don't blink when things don't go well. They continue to go out there and they play hard, and things aren't going to go well every time. Sometimes you have to punt. Sometimes you don't score a touchdown, but we'll get another opportunity. Let's go out and try to score and be explosive. But I think being able not to flinch and be resilient in moments when things aren't going well, which that's going to happen in a football game. Our offense has shown that to me.
Coach, I know this season obviously isn't over yet, but how would you reflect on everything that happened this season, whether that's the offense, the team, and what excites you the most about next season?
Well, I think this season has been fun because we've seen guys grow, we've seen guys step up in roles of their first opportunity playing this year. And we just want to go out and we want to finish off the right way in a New Year's Six bowl game against Florida State, who's undefeated. And when you're undefeated, that's a huge accomplishment. And they've got a strong, very very strong defensive football team. So that's our challenge. I want to finish out the right way. As far as next season goes, that's next season. I think, everything we're doing up to this point is to finish off the right way for this senior class. Having a chance to get 50 wins is the most important thing on our mind right now. I think just, well, there's a lot of areas. I think no matter how long you've been in the system or how many years experience whether you've got being in that system, I think his maturity has grown throughout the year. His confidence has grown. You can be confident, but until you go out there and do it, on Saturdays, you still have to be able to feel that and go out and do it. And I think his confidence in those areas has helped him grow. He's had the talent, but I think his confidence more than anything. Say that again. Well, I think Gunnar has done a great job in learning the offense. I think that's been his number one development so far. He's got more reps this year with the offense. Where last year he was on basically the scout team, but now he's getting reps, and I think every rep you get, you see growth. But just being more comfortable in the offense is his biggest growth. Big, strong kid with a live arm, athletic, has some athletic ability, and a confident kid that wanted to come and compete at the University of Georgia, and I like that.
How would you assess your first year back as well?
Well, I've been doing it a long time, and I don't think just being at Georgia, whether I was calling at Georgia or somewhere else, it's calling plays. It's having a great staff, which we have, going in there, putting a game plan together, and hopefully your kids understand that game plan and go out and play well on Saturday. The ultimate goal is to win every game, and we didn't do that, but we have another game, this Saturday against Florida State, and we're excited about playing in that football game.
Talking about players you added, what stood out to you about the three guys you added in the transfer portal?
The three,
Two receivers.
well, they're not here yet. Okay, they're not here, and I'm focused on this game and getting our guys that are here ready to play. Well, I think it's we always have the saying next man's up around here, so that could happen at any moment, at any time, at any game. Somebody goes down, you got to be ready. So we're getting guys ready to go for this football game. I think we've got to be efficient on first and second down because this team we're playing is very, very good third down defense, and it's going to come down to us being able to generate some explosive plays. And our quarterback's got to put us in the right position, and guys got to make plays when they have the opportunity. No, I think we're close to being 100% healthy. There's a few guys out there that got a couple things, but that's going to be up to Coach Smart and Ron Corson, our training staff, who plays. And at the end of the day, who's out there is who we got, and that's what we go with.
After that on tape, looking at the Alabama game, what did not work for you guys in that game?
Well, mentioned earlier, we've been good on third down all year, and ironically, I think, that game, we had some third and shorts that we didn't convert in the game that ultimately didn't be able to continue drives and allow us to have more plays. But, selling for 3 field goals in the red zone and turning the ball over and not being able to be explosive, I felt like we couldn't get in a rhythm for whatever reason after the first drive. And, one, you got to give those guys a lot of credit. They're a good defensive football team. But that happens. And, unfortunately, we didn't play our best. They played better than us, and that happens in football. It's hard to get. You watch Coach Smart shows every week. He shows third and fourth and ones around this in our league, and sometimes in the NFL, and how hard it is to get a yard. Sometimes I think people think, hey, it's third and one, you automatically get it, and we've been very, very good at it all year. But sometimes things don't go as planned, and they didn't go as planned in that game.
I knew, honestly, the second after the game, really, like, in my heart, I was like, okay, like this, like a lot changed. Like, I was like, okay, I got a lot to think about. But truly, I knew like 3 days after the SEC championship.
Unfinished business, job not complete. What was it? I got that.
I guess that's part of it. I think the biggest thing for me was just like looking around that locker room after the loss and like seeing the emotions of the guys around me. Guys that we come in and we grind every single day. We work so hard, and like we've been going since January. Every single day, day in, day out. Seeing the emotions of the guys in that locker room, I was like, nah, we got to do this again, or I have to do this again, and come back and just have another season with these guys, and the bond that we've created is going to be something special.
What feedback did you get from the league about your perspective, and did that at all have any effect in your decision?
Yeah, no, I mean, it really didn't have too much effect. I think the biggest thing for me was what I thought was best as far as me mentally, physically. What is my future going to look like based on the decision that I make? And I just think the best decision was to come back and give this thing another go.
Elite athletes, whatever sport you're in, always talk about getting that 1% better. For you, what does that look like?
I think the biggest thing for me is just the consistency and just coming in, day out, and really treating this next year. And I mean, even as we finish out this season, as a pro, and figuring out what that looks like and what that is, and whether that's calling guys that are actually in the NFL and have done it, and learning from their perspective, and then also really taking coaching and just trying to bring my game to the next level.
Coach says everybody who's healthy is going to play. What about the culture translates to the buy-in of playing in this game when it's not the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, it goes to show, the players at this university, the standard that we've set. We fully expect, these guys to come out here, give us their best shot, and we're going to give them, our best shot as well. But these guys want to win, and it doesn't matter to the circumstances. I think ever since I made the decision, and a lot of that, the talk went out the wayside. I've really been able to lock in and focus on, this team and these guys. And we've had the past month of practicing and stuff. So building the chemistry with these guys, being around these guys all the time, and we haven't been in school. We're there at the facility all day. So, just being able to do that and just constantly, it's picking up the pace even faster and faster, having more confidence and being able to make, throws like that and do things like that. It's been a lot of fun. We've had a lot of fun preparing for this game. To play an undefeated opponent that is a conference champion. Obviously a lot of their guys are opting out, but I mean, we go 1-0 versus 2D in practice, and our 2D will, kill us sometimes. You know what I'm saying? they're locking us down, clamming us up, and I'm getting frustrated. I'm like, dang, we fully expect to play a really good opponent, and I'm super excited for that matchup. So can you say that again? I guess the biggest thing for me is just timing with receivers and really building that trust and chemistry. I feel like as the season has continued to go on, that's built more and more. Like being able to trust guys and know where guys are going to be. But I think through off-season work and things like that we can really hit the field running at the beginning of the season to where I know what guys are going to do. Really get into the lab and practice those things in the off-season.
When you're old and gray, my age, and your kids about to say, what was it like growing up Rock Powers? What would you tell them?
Awesome. I told him the other day, dude, truly one of the best college football players to ever play the game. And he has the work ethic. He's put in the work. You've seen it from the day that he got here. We'd be out during team run in January, February, where we'd go out and run in cold weather, and this guy is not losing a single sprint. And I'm talking to everybody on the team, like the skill guys, guys that should be beating him, that are faster than him. He didn't lose a single rep, So to be able to play with him and just watch some of the things that he's been able to do, not only this season, especially injured, to injure that ankle and recover so fast, it's like this guy is superhuman. So, but it's definitely a blessing, and definitely thankful to have gotten to play with that guy.
What about Labacon's journey from where he arrived in Athens to where he is now?
Yeah, obviously I always knew what he was capable of, especially down on the scout team my freshman year. Watching the things that he was doing to our defense, I don't know what guys were there, but that defense was ridiculous that year and then my sophomore year. But the things that he was doing down on the scout team, it's like, okay, this guy's going to be a player. It's like, dang, did he really, is he really not playing right now as a freshman, But, he's kind of developed into that role, and, we saw it coming from the beginning. Say that again. Oh, super excited. Obviously we want to finish the season out strong and not look forward too much to next season, but definitely excited, with the guys that we have coming back and the guys that are coming in. Definitely super excited for this upcoming season. Yeah, obviously, there's the information overload. We're deep into the season, so, there's not really much install or things like that. Like, everyone kind of just knows what's going on as far as the offense, the defense plan. So to come in as a new guy and just have that information overload, there's a lot. But, you can see a lot of raw talent from these guys that have come in on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. So definitely excited to see them come in as we start back up in January, February with workouts and then spring football.
Quarterback center bond is always going to be special, right? But said, most likely taking off. What has he meant to you, this program? How important is it to send off these seniors that came in?
Yeah, obviously we have a great relationship, and there's a lot that we have to do together as far as mentally on the field, as far as understanding the protection and things like that, and checking plays. And he's such a smart guy and really understands that, so it helps me even more as far as him making decisions and things like that. But obviously with him maybe leaving, which he probably is.
Culture that.
Let's talk some Falcons, Bailey.
Let's do it.
So, Bill Barnwell, ESPN, comes out with his list of most frustrating NFL teams to watch, basing it on just how they play, their results so far and everything, or just a bunch of different factors. Atlanta Falcons, to no surprise to me, I don't know about whoever watched the Falcons, no surprise to me, the Falcons made the list at number 8.
Yes.
My only beef with that is that it's probably too low.
Yeah.
I'm thinking they should be higher.
I thought they would have been like 5-6.
Yeah.
They're very frustrating to watch. I don't know what to make of it at this point. They have to win out to have a chance at the playoffs. I think going away from Ritter was probably the smart thing to do. I think they did it. I think going back to Ritter might have been a mistake. And that loss to the Panthers was just brutal.
What? It's just kind of funny because we both kind of chuckled about one point made in the article where it says, you know, how the Falcons play would be like the Warriors in their prime, basing their offense around Andrew Bogut and Festus Ezeli, who are role players, in case anybody didn't know, right? That's really what the Falcons does, and that's what's frustrating every single week when you watch this football team, because you spent 3 years drafting first-round picks like Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson, who are supposed to be the anchors of your offense. And it just doesn't seem like when you watch this team that they have enough creative ways to get those guys involved. Like, all right, so what? Maybe you don't have the quarterback to be able to go downfield to Pitts or to go downfield to Drake London, but just come up with inventive ways to be able to get guys involved in the offense. I mean, Bijan Robinson is the sort of weapon where he should be touching the ball no less than 25 times a game. I mean, you should be beating teams over the head with Bijan Robinson because he can do so many things offensively. And let's face it, you're going to get your best production out of a running back probably in the first 5 years anyway. So get your money's worth right now. Get him the ball as much as you possibly can. Throw quick screens to Kyle Pitts. I just don't think they have enough creative ways to get the ball in the hands of their playmakers, and I guess that falls at Arthur Smith.
I agree with that, but to a standpoint, if you don't have a quarterback who can throw it to your playmakers, does it really matter? The reason I think about this is I think about a Packers team I covered, the 2018-2019 team, and Matt LaFleur was really good at scheming guys up, and it was almost like, who are they going to use this game? At some points, it was Alan Lazard. At some points, it was Robert Tonyan, people you've never even heard of. And then it was like Aaron Jones's game, and you're just flip-flopping between all these guys and able to scheme certain guys in certain situations, and it just feels like that falls flat for the Falcons somehow when you have Drake London, you have Kyle Pitts, and you have Bijan Robinson, and there was that whole back and forth in the middle of season about, like, situational football and using Bijan, and it's just like, play football. Get it to the guys that matter, and that's what they've struggled to do.
It shouldn't be that hard. I mean, you know, you just talked about teams who you've covered. You also covered the Browns, right? Kevin Stefanski. When you look at where they're at this year, they're 10-5. They haven't gotten, I mean, he's gotten the most out of the quarterbacks that they've had, but their number one quarterback went down.
And think about it, though. It doesn't matter who's at quarterback. They feed Amari Cooper.
Yeah, they feed Amari Cooper. And some people may get, like, Stefanski may drive people crazy sometimes because he tries to be a little bit too smart sometimes and he does crazy things. But at least he's trying to come up with inventive ways to get guys the football. So I'll give him credit for that. He knows who his playmakers are. So he tries to come up with schemes and different plays to be able to get those guys involved. When you look at the Falcons games, I just don't see enough of that. Like, I don't see enough creative ways to get Bijan Robinson the football. I don't see enough creative ways to get Drake London, Kyle Pitts. I mean, look, I'm young enough to remember when Kyle Pitts was supposed to change the tight end position. Remember when he was drafted?
You're young enough. That was like a year ago.
I know. It's a joke, right? I'm young enough to remember it. And then still, when you look at Kyle Pitts, he has yet to really change the position. So I don't know how much of that is him or how much of that is the fact that he's not in an offense that's geared to getting the ball to playmakers. I mean, I think, with all due respect to guys like Tyler Algier and Jonnu Smith, they should not be the focal points on any Sunday.
Or Matt Collins.
Yeah,
or
Matt Collins.
Daryl Hodge.
No.
We should not be hearing any of those names.
No, I mean, I think 80 to 90% of the offensive production should be from those three guys, and it's not. So I think that's probably why they made the most frustrating list. But you brought up a pretty good point, right? You said that it doesn't matter who you have as a playmaker position. If you don't have the quarterback, right, you're going to be in trouble. Well, I'm glad you brought that up because there's a quarterback out in Denver who probably won't be in Denver next season, Russell Wilson. I guess for all intents and purposes, right? He was kind of not released, but
he's benched, and
won't be
I mean,
back.
it's gonna be an interesting offseason to say the least. So this article, I want to get to it, said there are a couple of teams that make sense for Wilson, and these were the teams. And as we go through them, I'm going to tell you maybe why I do not think they are the team. So number 7 was Buccaneers. They could use a quarterback. Baker Mayfield's on a 1-year deal, but he is playing well. I could see, first of all, I don't think there's necessarily a market for Baker Mayfield as much as people may think there is.
You don't think after this season there'll be a market for Baker Mayfield if they make the playoffs?
Are we talking a 1-year deal?
A multi-year deal.
No.
I mean, just think about.
I don't see him getting more than a 2, maybe a 3-year deal, but it's cheap.
Over $30 million a year, right? That sort of money. I mean, when you think about the quarterbacks who are making that kind of money, a lot of them aren't even playing as well as Baker Mayfield is.
No, but also, what are their situations? Baker Mayfield has been on multiple teams and still has been proven on multiple teams not to be the guy. We'll have to talk about this another time. We don't have the
okay.
time to get into this situation.
We move
But
on.
then you go to 6, and it's the Raiders. I think the Raiders that are in a rebuild, they're not going to go for a guy like Wilson, who they're going to have to replace
Yeah.
again in 2 years anyway.
Yeah.
Steelers, Mike Tomlin and Russell Wilson are not two guys I see working together. Mike Tomlin is old school, and I like Russ, but I do think he is a little bit of an ego these days, and I don't
see
think
that.
Tomlin and him would clash well. That brings us to 4, which is the Patriots. I think it's similar with Bill Belichick. Who knows if he's there? But I think we are all very aware of how that situation pans out. Okay, so then, we go to 3.
Running out of
If
teams here.
it would pop up, it's not popping up. Long story short, Falcons were number 1.
Yeah, not a surprise.
And I will ask you this as we need to get through the rest of these, so let's make it quick. Would you go get Russell Wilson if you're the Falcons?
If I'm the Falcons, I would. Yes, I would definitely kick the tires because it wouldn't cost you that much, right? He's getting most of his salary from the Broncos next year, $37 million. So yeah, sure. I mean, I think that's somebody to kick the tires on. My question is the Falcons in attractive situations for Russell Wilson? That's the biggest thing, right?
You want to know something really interesting? I looked up the numbers.
What's that?
Matt Ryan in his final season with the Falcons had better numbers than what Russell Wilson has right now.
Well, maybe he's not a great.
I think Russell Wilson had more touchdowns, but Matt Ryan had more passing yards, less sacks, and I can't remember about the interceptions. But he had way more yards and technically had a better season when you look at all of the stats.
And you know what? It's probably a bad idea anyway because doesn't Future live in Atlanta? And that's Sierra's kid's father. I mean, that could end up being a bad mix. I mean,
That
you
needs
end
to be its whole
you end
own
up sending
segment. We
Sierra
need to
back-
bring the whole own segment there. That is a great point.
You bringing Sierra back close to her baby daddy? I'm just saying that could be
And
a
there's
crazy
beef
mix.
there. There's
There could be
beef
beef there.
there.
I'm just saying.
There is beef there.
That
That's
could be
a great
volatile.
point, Scott. I agree with you there.
All right, so let's hit some Hawks real quick. So
Okay.
if you listen to Shams, the NBA insider, he seems to think that the Lakers are in hot pursuit of Hawks guard DeJounte Murray. He's been here for a couple seasons now. So the Lakers are looking for another, like a third wheel to put sort of lessen the load on LeBron James and Anthony Davis there. Do you think the Hawks would be willing to ship him out?
I don't know. It's so tough because I still think it's early in the season that I don't think they're really ready to just kind of blow things up and get the pieces that they can out of it.
Good point.
I understand it, and I understand, maybe for the right price. I think we were talking about it and you said that, and I get that.
Yeah, for the right price,
But
I
the
think they would.
reality is I still think it's too early. They've been so injury prone, the Hawks, that they really haven't had everyone in at the same time to mesh and gel more with Quinn Snyder. So they've had their ebbs and flows. I don't know. I think this is really interesting and something to definitely continue to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you look at the dynamic of the Hawks and when you look around the NBA, a lot of times those small backcourts together don't work as much, right? And I think that when you look at Trae Young's game, when you look at DeJounte Murray's game, maybe it just doesn't mesh the way it should, right? So I think if you're the Hawks and you could pluck a good haul from the Lakers for DeJounte Murray, who I think would probably fit them pretty well, maybe like Austin Reeves in a first-round pick. I think that's the kind of deal that I would probably favor because if you get Austin Reeves, I think that sort of fills the void that they lost when Kevin Huerter went to Sacramento. He's the same kind of player of Austin Reeves. That sort of – he's not like Trae Young, and I think that will look better offensively for what the Hawks are trying to do. I don't know, but we'll see, right?
Yep, I'm
So
with
let's
you.
talk about what's on your mind. What's on your mind?
Joe Flacco's on my mind. I love this resurgence, and
I'ma stay with this one.
I know you like me going here with it, but I can't help it. I'm so happy for his success, and I love what he's doing with the Browns, and I love that the city's hyping him up because they deserve just someone who's solid, good. But Ravens fans are hurting inside seeing
Keep
him
going.
back
Keep
with
going.
the Browns.
We got
and
45 seconds
thriving.
left. Let's keep going. Keep
No,
going.
you want to take it? You want to chime in before we get this out?
Look, I'm just going to stay on this one, all right? Browns against the Jets tonight. Browns win. They have a chance to get in. Well, the Browns win. They're in, right? They have a 99% chance already to make the playoffs. So just tremendous what they've done all season long with all those injuries. Half their team has been on injury reserve at all key positions. And here they are with the chance to win tonight. Even if they lose tonight, they still have a great chance to get in. But they have a chance to win and put themselves in tonight. I'm proud all the way down here from Atlanta, and I'll be watching.
There you go.
Cool. Well, that's sports tonight here on a Thursday. Bailey, always great when we have a chance to do it, right?
Yes, sir.
And we'll be back at you tomorrow with more sports tonight. Later on for Thursday. Enjoy.